All right, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Smart Session. Smart Sessions are our monthly leader-focused webinar series where we give you tips and tricks and resources to support your teachers with using Gradient. And the link you see in the lower left corner of your screen there is going to give you access to this slide deck and all of the hyperlinks and resources and goodies that are inside of it. For today's session, it's going to be all about getting creative with assignment types. So whether you are a leader at your school or a teacher yourself, lots of times teachers aren't aware of all of the amazing ways that they can use Gradient in their classrooms. And we want to highlight that a bit for you. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Aaron, and I am the Instructional Design Manager here at GradeCam. I'm also joined today by some of our customer experience team, including Katie, who many of you are familiar with. She's our Director of Customer Experience. Katie's going to be keeping an eye on the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them and we'll be sure to address them during today's session. We'll also have some time at the end to get to any Q&A that you may have. All right, so it's a little preview of what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to go over some assignment design ideas in Gradient, in particular, choosing the right assignment type for what the teacher is trying to accomplish. Then after that, we'll take a look at how teachers can review performance and a quick and easy tool you can set up to help them with that. And then finally, we'll look ahead at what else there is on the way for our webinar series. So let's dive in. So looking at assessment design in Gradient, most of you and your teachers are probably already familiar with our multiple question assignment types. These are by far our most used assignment type, and they're an excellent way for assessing student learning and using different question types, as we've discussed a lot in the past. They're also great for assessing where students are at according to academic standards, and teachers and students are all really familiar with that format for an assessment. But those aren't the only ways you can assess student learning, or even the only way to collect data on student performance in Gradient. If you read our newsletter for them, if you read our newsletter for the month of March, you would have seen some highlights of our other assignment types. And I want to bring even more focus to one right now, which is, as you see on the screen, our observational assignments. You may be wondering what an observational assignment is, and it is an assignment that generates a single form for a whole class, where teachers can collect handwritten scores with up to 6 different defined criteria. So let me see if I have a zoom of this. I didn't zoom in on that picture, but you can see the picture right here. And I'm going to show us in the system in a moment of how you can create these and kind of what they look like. These assignment types are also great for assessing where students are at according to academic standards. And teachers and students are both very familiar with, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up what I'm saying. Got a little sidetrack there. So if you read our newsletter this past month, you would have seen these different assignment types. So this is a form that you can print with a row for each student in the class and columns for each criteria that you can write a score for. So what I love about this assignment type is that it can be used in a lot of different ways. Teachers can use it to evaluate performance, maybe for an oral presentation, or something I would have used a lot in my humanities classroom was using this for a Socratic seminar where I can kind of track student participation and what it is we're working on. Teachers can score a project based on final criteria, or even track progress throughout the project, with each column being a different milestone throughout the project. This is also a favorite assignment type for many of our elementary school teachers because it allows them to assess younger students and collect scores without the students having to be confined to filling in a bubble sheet or anything like that. And so right now I'm going to jump over to GradeCam and log into Gradient. And so I can show you kind of how you can quickly and easily create and scan this type of assignment form. So from the welcome page, you can click on Create Assignment, and our 4 different assignment types pop up. Observational assignments is here in the upper right. So when you click on that, it will look very similar to creating any other assignment type. You make a name. Let's call this assignment tracker. You can add a description if you want, and you can decide how many items or different criteria you want to assess. For simplicity's sake, I'll leave it at 3, but you can go up to 6. And so let's say if you had, depending on how many areas of your rubric you're trying to track, or maybe this is a day, each item is a day of the week. And I'm going to click save. And from here, those 3 items are already populated for me. And I can edit each of them individually in order to set points and rename them. So let's just call this one day 1. I'm doing an assignment tracker. I'll make this out of 2 points. You can see here for each item, I can also attach a standard. So this can be really helpful. You know, a lot of times the different targets on our rubric are each targeting a different standard. And so this is a great way to track those. I'm going to go next and do day 2. And next and do day 3. And I'll save and close. So now I've got my 3-day assignment tracker. I've got point values attached there, and I'm ready to print my form. So if I click on the form, I can select a class, and it's going to pull up that entire class list with a day for each. And I'll generate this to view it a little bit better. But you can see here, I've got my whole class, each criteria that I'm looking at, so I can easily track scores all on one sheet for my entire class, depending on what it is I'm trying to track. And then the scanning is just as easy. I'm going to go to another assignment that I have created already. Let me delete these scores so I can demonstrate this for you. And so I have an assignment tracker right here, ready to go, an observational form that I created. When I'm on my responses page, I can click that scan button, and I hold the entire form up. May take a little bit longer because it's scanning the whole class, but you'll see here the entire class's scores just got scanned in all in one go. So it's a great way to collect a lot of data all at once. Something maybe you've been tracking over time, you can scan it all in one go and save yourself a ton of time, save you and your teachers a ton of time. So I love the observational assignment. And on our slide deck here, we have some ideas, and then linked here are even more creative ideas that teachers have used in the past for using observational assignments. So you're welcome to kind of click through that and get some more ideas from that. I'm going to pause really quickly. Katie, how's the chat looking? Any questions?
No questions yet. I was asking the group that's attending if they're already using observational forms. Danielle said, oops, I missed how to scan it. But you can check back in the recording to see that. Real easy, just scanning like we normally do. Yep. So happy to pass that along. But yeah, no questions so far.
Awesome. The great thing is that with the scanning, you only have to scan once for an entire class and multiple scores. So that's what we love about it. Awesome. So we're going to keep going. The next thing I wanted to talk about is how teachers review performance. All depends on what they're looking for and what they want to do with that information going forward. And one of the ways that Gradient can help your teachers with that is by viewing performance bands in their assignment reports. Performance bands, you'll see an example of one here on the screen. Performance bands are basically a set of percent ranges that you can label in different ways to indicate a level of mastery, a specific grade in your grade book, or even to indicate proficiency of a certain standard or skill. So right here, we have this performance band is listed, 90 and above is advanced, 80 and above is above basic, basic, below basic, far below basic. I think the performance band most of us were all probably familiar with growing up was the A through F scale, 90 to 100 being an A, 80 to 90 being a B, and so on. Teachers are actually able to create their own performance bands in their account settings, but each individual teacher would have to do that for themselves, and it only applies to themselves. But as a school leader and a Gradient administrator, you can actually create performance bands in admin mode, which will then automatically become available for your teachers to use, which can save them time and also allow for consistency across your school when it comes to data analysis. So once again, I will jump into GradeCam, go into Gradient. I'm going to go into admin mode to show you where you can access this. Once you're in admin mode, you see that pink bar at the top of your screen. You're going to click on your profile and go to settings. And from settings, actually, the very first thing that pops up is our performance bands. If you've created some, you'll see them all listed here below. If you have not created any, you won't see anything there, but it's going to have a space for you to create a new performance band. So I'm just going to call this classic, like the one I mentioned, and I click add. So I come up with a name, whatever I want to call it, and click add. And we have some default information put in here, like the one I showed you, but you can edit all of this information. So you can keep the names if you want, or change the names. You can change what is written here. Maybe I want to make this kind of that classic A, B, C, D, F. I can add additional ranges if you want. So you can go up to 10 ranges. You can also remove ranges if you want to make it more simplified. You can change your color coding scheme with all these different color options. And once again, when you create this performance band, teachers will automatically then have access to it when they're looking at their own reports. So a nice quick little tip for you to help your teachers with their assignment analysis and data analysis. And going back to our presentation, we also have instructions here for what I just showed you, creating it at the district level, but also instructions you can pass on if teachers want to create their own. And we have a blog post from our website just about how using performance bands in different ways can really affect your teaching and helping with informing your future instruction. And so all of the information that we've talked about can be found on our website. You'll receive a recording of this training, but two areas in particular coming up that I'd like to draw your attention to are our Teach It Forward webinar series and our newsletter. These are both excellent resources, both for you and you can direct your teachers to. So Teach It Forward, this image on the left here, it is this webinar series allows us to showcase actual educators who are using Gradient in their classroom. And so this month, we have 3 teachers who are going to be sharing how they use question types beyond multiple choice to assess their students. So if you're looking to be inspired by some incredible educators, you can register at this link. If you actually are in the slide deck and you click to open up, it will take you to our Teach It Forward, and you can register for that March 16th webinar right there. Registration will also give you access to the recording after the fact. And if you haven't already, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter. So the image on the right here, if I click that, it takes me to a collection of all of our newsletters. So you can get updates in your email inbox on all of our newest features, along with some product highlights and tips. This month, the March webinar actually matches the theme of today's Smart session. So there's the information we talked about here and even more for you to check out. And it actually has detailed breakdowns of all of our assignment types, not just the observational assignment. And finally, I will go back to our deck. Here we go. Coming up, we have more Smart sessions for you. So you're always welcome to join us again next month. If you're joining us live, then you're already signed up right now. You'll get a reminder for next month's session. In that, we will be talking about the data and reports that you can generate in Gradient and that your teachers are already gathering data for every time they use Gradient. That Smart session is going to be on April 5th, and we hope to see you there. So I am going to, that's all we have, actually. So hopefully you picked up something you can bring back to your teachers at your school, make their lives a little easier. If you're doing any teaching yourself and using Gradient with your own students, hopefully these tips will help you. And I'm going to stop the recording right now, but we will stay on and answer any questions that folks still have. So